What's up YouTube? I'm Alex and welcome back to The Breakdown. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a little bit of a different video today. As you can tell, no Cameron, no Peyton, but I'm going to be bringing you guys a solo video. And we're going to be doing that more in the future, just to dive more in depth in some topics, some teams, some sports, give you some more analysis. Today I'm going to be doing that by giving you my top 12 MLB teams, along with some of my early season disappointments. Let's jump right into the video, starting off with my biggest surprise of the year, the Minnesota Twins. The Twins were 21-15, first in the AL Central. Shocking to me as a team. I think I picked them third or fourth in the division this year. I thought the White Sox would run away with that division. But let's talk about why they've been really good. Their pitching has been surprisingly good. I don't think anyone expected them to have a decent rotation. It's been decent. Byron Buxton looks great. When healthy, he looks like an MVP candidate. Now, why they don't make my list, they are my first team out. So, if you want to call them the 13th best team in baseball, in my opinion, you can. I don't think their pitching going to hold them. I don't think guys like Joe Ryan, Griffin Jacks are going to keep throwing like the way they are. I think that's just going to cost them over time, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep up this pace they're at. But they are a fun story to watch. You never know what can happen. They have a lot of young prospects, guys like Alex Kirilloff, Royce Lewis, two young studs I expect to produce in the league for years to come. And that's why they're my biggest surprise right now, but they're also my first team out, just because I don't think that pitching is going to hold up. Then moving on to my two biggest disappointments. First, we have the Seattle Mariners, America's team. A team that I picked, I thought was going to be really good this year, a team that I was really keen on, and they've disappointed me a ton. They're sitting behind the Rangers in the standings. They're right next to the Oakland A's. And why? Outside of Ty France, J.P. Crawford, and Julio Rodriguez, this lineup has been atrocious. They are not hitting, and that's a problem. Robbie Ray has not been good. So you look at that. Their lineup has not produced. Robbie Ray has not been good. Ray's the guy you went out and get in free agency. You paid him a lot of money. And he's not pitched good. That has to be concerning. Logan Gilbert, however, has pitched great. He looks like an ace. Worked out with Jacob deGrom this offseason. Outside of the point, though. And also a bad bullpen. A bad bullpen, bad Robbie Ray, and a bad lineup. What do you get? You get a bad Mariners team. Guys like Jesse Winker, Eugenio Suarez not producing. So overall, you combine those together, that's why they're 16-21 right now, and they've really disappointed a lot of people, including myself. Enough about the Mariners. Moving on, another disappointing team, the Boston Red Sox. They've been atrocious this year. This is a team that you expect to be fighting for top spots in the AL East, the best division, or one of the best divisions of baseball, and you expect them to be fighting for a wild card position at some point at the end of the year. But they're 14-22 right now. They're right next to the Baltimore Orioles. They're separated right now in the AL East by a good amount from the Yankees, Blue Jays, and Rays. Why? Same thing as the Mariners. Bad lineup. Outside of Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, and JD Martinez, their offense has been horrible. Trevor Story has looked awful. He hasn't been great defensively, and he has not hit. He's hitting in the low 200s right now. Not what you expect from a guy you paid a lot of money. In addition to that, their rotation hasn't been great. Guys like Garrett Whitlock, Rich Hill, they've pitched good, which is very surprising. And I don't know if that'll keep up. Rich Hill's like 55 years old, so we'll see. Garrett Whitlock has a nice arm, though, however. Matt Barnes, what happened? This guy was one of the best closers in the year last year. He's lost like 3 miles an hour on his fastball. He does not seem like an elite closing option anymore. And then that's just a problem, You lose your closer. I do like some of their bullpen arms. I do like Diekman. I do like Hansel Robles. I do like Salomar. But overall, a very disappointing start for the Boston Red Sox. Can they turn it around? We will see. Uphill battle, though. And then moving on to some of my first teams out of my rankings. I have the Twins. We already talked about the Twins. I have the Miami Marlins after the Twins. So you want to call them 14th? Go ahead, knock yourself out. They're tied second in the NL East at 17-19. You might say, why are they your first team out? Well, guess what? This team has two aces, Pablo Lopez and Sandy Alcantara. Get to know the names. They're going to be pitching for years to come. And they have another guy, Jesus Luzardo, who's also an interesting pitching prospect, came over from the A's. Now, this is a young and a bad offense, but they do have good pitching. Jazz Chisholm is a star, and for them to be 17-19, tied in second, ahead of the Braves, ahead of the Phillies, that's impressive to me. No shame if you're a Miami Marlins fan. White Sox, another team, first team out for me. They would be my 15th team, so to speak. They have to get healthy. Eloy Jimenez hurt. Lance Lynn hurt. Liam Hendricks battled some issues. And then outside of the injuries, there's been guys not producing. Guys like A.J. Pollock. Guys like Jose Abreu. Jose Abreu is a guy that you count on to sit in that 4 spot, knocking 100 runs every year. He's not been hitting well, and that's really affecting them. Liam Hendricks has not been as sharp as he usually is. He's blown a couple of big saves. So when you look at all that, that's why this team, who everyone expected to run away with the AL Central, is sitting behind the Minnesota Twins right now. And then now we're going to move into my actual top 12. Sitting at number 12, we have the defending champions from last year, the Atlanta Braves. Now, at 17-20 in fourth place in their division, I think that's a little shocking to everybody, including myself. However, I do think they will pick it up. I think they're having a little bit of a World Series layover. You know, everyone knows how it is. You win the championship, you come back, and it's just nothing just seems to click right away. But they're good. They have a good offense. We know they have a good offense. We've seen it, but nobody's really popping. Nobody pops off the screen when you look at that lineup. When you look at that stat sheet, you're not always seeing anybody that's like, you're like, wow, this guy's really getting off. Because there hasn't really been anybody. But it's a very solid, it's a very star-studded lineup. And I think that as we get farther in the year, there's going to be guys hitting a lot better in there. And then their rotation, you have Kyle Wright, who's been a pleasant surprise. Ian Anderson, Max Fried, all throwing very well. Now, my one concern with this team, and why they're so low in my rankings right now, is I don't think they have an ace. I don't think Max Fried is that ace. I don't think he's that guy you can throw out of the elimination game and be like, I think Max Fried is going to win. I think Max Fried is going to win me this game, because I don't think he's that guy. That's one of the issues I have with this team. However, I do like the bullpen. We know they have a star-studded bullpen. So this is a team that's struggled a lot, but I expect them to pick it up very, very soon. My number 11 team in baseball is the St. Louis Cardinals. Goldschmidt and Arenado have looked great this year. They really put this offense on their back. Waino and Miles Mikolas are pitching great. Is Miles Mikolas going to keep it up? I have no clue. I don't know enough about Miles Mikolas. I know he's coming off injury, but we know Waino's denying for all the time. Him and Yachty, probably the greatest battery of all time. But there are some concerns with this team. Tyler O'Neill is a guy who's been struggling. He's been horrible this year. And this is a guy that everyone expected to take a huge step up. Had a great end of the season last year. This guy looked like the next superstar, right? Now he's really struggled. So, and then another guy, Dakota Hudson. You know, I have it here in my notes. Can he step up? Can he be that third guy? You really want to have those three guys that you feel like you can really count on for a playoff series. Can he be that third guy that the Cardinals can count on? We will see. Toronto Blue Jays are at number 10, a team that's a little bit disappointed me so far. I can't really say that much, though. They're 20-17, third in the AL East, a really good division. So I can't say they've disappointed me a ton. They haven't been as good as I expected, though. A team I picked to win the World Series earlier in the year. The offense hasn't been as great as I thought it would be. Bo Bichette has really struggled this year, but he's turned it around a little bit, maybe turned the corner. Teoscar Hernandez has been hurt. Not saying Vladdy is having a bad year, but Vladdy's not having as unreal of a year as he's had last year, which can't be expected, but he's not been as, how do I put this? He's not been as insane as, he is, which is modest. However, Gausman and Manoah look like studs. They look like geniuses for letting Robbie Ray walk to sign Gausman. They look incredible for that. And then Alek Manoah looks like a young Cy Young candidate for years to come. Now, when you look at a guy like Jordan Romano closing down the bullpen, I'm going to pat myself on the back. My AO reliever of the year pick looks pretty solid right now. He's been everything you want and more. He's blown a couple saves. Yeah, we get it. It happens. Yankees are a pretty good team to blow saves too. But that's why they're my number 10 team in baseball right now. Number 9, Milwaukee Brewers. This is a team that I don't think has a good offense at all. They cannot hit for average. I don't see a lot of studs offensively, but they hit home runs, which has helped them. Tellez had Hunter Renfroe, Willie Adames. Yelich has looked better of late, but their offense is not very good. But their arms are incredible. This rotation is incredible. Burns, Hauser, Peralta, Lauer, all have been pitching at an extremely high level this year. And that's not even including Brandon Woodruff, a guy who was a Cy Young candidate last year, who's been horrible. But if he comes back, that's a scary, scary team to face in a playoff series. And Josh Hader, 14 of 14 saves, 0 ERA. What more is there to say? That's incredible. We're almost in June and the guy has a 0 ERA. Incredible. Moving on to number 8, Los Angeles Angels, a team that's second in the AL West, sitting at 24-14. Two things you got to say. Trout, Ohtani, both are unreal. Mike Trout, we forgot how unreal Mike Trout is. He's shown us how good he truly, really is, and I think we forget when all those injuries happened. We really forget how good Mike Trout was, and he's shown us. Can these two guys carry a team for a whole year? That's really hard to say. I want to say no, but I'd love to see it. And then there's a guy who I look at, and Anthony Rendon, who just looks like his best days are behind him. It looks like the Tony Two Bags we knew is gone. The Tony Two Bags from the 2019 World Series. He just doesn't look the same anymore. So that's kind of a little bit of a depressing fact if you're an Angels fan. And then guys like Taylor Ward, and Brandon Marsh have been hitting really good. Can they keep it up? A bunch of young guys, I don't know. We'll see. The pitching is what is my concern, though, which is why they're number 8. I just don't know if this rotation can make it throughout the year. Outside of Ohtani, I don't really see any guys that I'm super confident in. Patrick Sandoval has pitched incredible this year. I don't know if we can keep that up. It's just a team that I don't really like the rotation. And, when you're projecting throughout a whole year, do I think that rotation is going to keep it up through the dog days of August? Probably not. That's why they're number 8. Number 7, Tampa Bay Rays. I will read y'all what I have on my computer here. Rays are the Rays. What does that mean? They're scrappy. They just win games. They do things right. They do things different, which is why they do things right. It's the best front office in baseball, and it translates onto the field. This team takes guys who nobody's ever heard of, brings them out, and they are stud arms. They have arms for days. They're position players. You're not going to look at the Rays lineup and be like, oh, all-star here, all-star here, all-star here. No, you're just not going to do that because that's not their team. But they win games. They find ways to win games. They do it better than anybody else in the league. I don't know how they do it each year. Their front office deserves a hell of a praise, and that's why they're good. Then another guy, Shane McClanahan, I do want to talk about shortly, has looked like an absolute ace this year. Moving on, number 6, the San Diego Padres, 23-13, second in the West, actually behind 2 other NL West teams. Sorry, Machado raking as usual. Manny Machado's a stud. Don't need to talk about that. However, Eric Hosmer has resurged after a couple years of struggling. He's been playing bad. A couple years in San Diego. Ever since he got that huge contract, looked like a terrible move. Talks about him getting moved in the offseason possibly, but he's been ranking. Is he going to keep that up? We'll see. But they do have a lot of guys not hitting, which is a little bit of a concern right now, even though you don't have Fernando Tatis there. Cronenworth is not hit. Grisham is not hit. Those are 2 guys you really look to be cornerstones of your lineup when you don't have a guy like Fernando Tatis. Now, when they get Tatis back, I'm sure that team is going to play even better. But for me, it's the rotation I don't trust. Outside of Musgrove, I don't know if I trust guys like Mackenzie Gore and Sean Manaea to get the job done. Now, Blake Snell is coming. Blake Snell is coming back today, but we'll see what we get out of Blake Snell. And then a guy that I really think is the X factor for the Padres is Mike Clevenger. This is a guy that you're not expecting too much from a guy who's been battling severe injuries, but if he can come back and be that number 3, that solid, really solid number 3, maybe even number 2, that would be a huge step for the San Diego Padres. So that's a guy I'm really keeping my eye on for the rest of the year. And then another NL West team right above them, we have the San Francisco Giants. You may say, why do you have the Giants above the Padres? I just like the Giants' overall team chemistry as a whole better. I like that they're scrappy. I like their arms better. I think they're better suited for a playoff series. I think they're a tougher team, if that makes sense, when you get down in the late days of baseball, the late days of September, the late days of October. Who's going to be the scrappier, tougher team? I think that's the Giants. I like their arms. A guy like Brandon Crawford has really struggled this year, which is disappointing, and you really hope that he can step it up. But I love their rotation. I love their arms, and I think they're a really scrappy team. That's why I like them over the San Diego Padres, who do have a better record than them. But I'm not looking at just record here. I'm looking at a team where how they're playing right now and how I can project them out into the future. And I think this is a team that can definitely win a playoff series. Los Angeles Dodgers, number 4. You might be surprised. You might think that's low. I'll tell you why. 23-12, first in the West. Nothing else to say there. Everyone expected the Dodgers to be this good. They are a super team. Freddie, CT3, Betts, Trey Turner, Will Smith have carried this offense. They do have a couple guys struggling though. Cody Bellinger has not looked like the same guy for years now. So we go from Cody Bellinger being an MVP candidate, having a bad year, fluke year, right? Fluke year. But now it may not just be a fluke. This may be the Cody Bellinger. This may be the real Cody Bellinger that we have left. He may just not be that guy anymore, which is unfortunate. Muncy's been bad. Muncy's hitting 150. That's not what you'd expect from a guy like that. You expect him to be right there in the 4-hole, mashing. He's not been there. I think he'll pick it up though. Justin Turner, another guy who's been struggling. People are starting to say, is Father Time caught up to him? Is he just old now? No, he's not. Justin Turner will be fine. He will be raking come playoff time. Don't worry about Justin Turner. And then for the rotation part, obviously Trevor Bauer is suspended for the rest of the year and next year. Not going to dive into that. Kershaw just went on the IL, so that leaves you with Buehler, Urias, then guys like Tyler Anderson, Tony Gonsolin, Heendog, Andrew Heaney. I don't know if Tony Gonsolin can be that 3 behind Buehler and Urias, which really concerns me. I said I want to have those 3 guys. That's what I'm really concerned about when I look at this team, is I don't know if they're going to have the rotation arms, because I don't know if I can count on Kershaw to be healthy. It just doesn't seem like at this point in his career he can ever stay healthy for a long period of time. So that's why I have the Dodgers at number 4, a little lower than consensus ranking. Moving on to number 3, we have the New York Mets. Hate the Mets, but I just have to put them here. It's very fair ranking. Their offense is better than last year. Guys like Canna, Starling Marte have provided a huge boost. Their offense is still nothing unreal, but their arms are just incredible. I mean, Scherzer, Baskett, Carrasco, McGill, Taijuan Walker. Those are 5 starters who have pitched great. Even Drew Peterson has pitched good when he's been up. But that's with no Jacob deGrom. Insert Jacob deGrom in there, and you have deGrom, Scherzer, Baskett, Carrasco. Take your pick of McGill or Walker, whoever's pitching better. I mean, that's an incredible rotation. Then you turn it over to a guy in the 9th, and Edwin Diaz, who's been lights out this year and looks like a lights out closer. So this is a great Mets team, finally a great Mets team, not an overhyped Mets team. I think this Mets team is poised to make a deep run in the playoffs if they get guys like deGrom healthy, if their pitching stays healthy. And maybe you get a guy like Francisco Lindor, who's been struggling a lot in the past 2 years. If you can get him going, I think this is a really, really, really good Mets team, and they are my number 1 team ranked in the NL right now. Moving over back to the AL, and the second best team in the AL for me, Houston Astros, 24-13. They just win. They just win written down, because they do. It doesn't matter who you take off their team. It doesn't matter if they lose Springer. It doesn't matter if they lose Correa. They just win over and over and over again. They bring in guys who win. They're very similar to the Rays in that aspect. I do think they have more star power, which is why I have them ranked higher. Yordan Alvarez is a star. Kyle Tucker turning into a star. And then we have arms. Justin Verlander has resurged. Never in my life did I think that I was going to see Justin Verlander come back from Tommy John surgery at, 35, 36? He may be even older than that. And think that he's going to pitch at a Cy Young level? No way. I was completely wrong on that. Missed completely. It's incredible to watch them. And they lead the league in home runs. I mean, they've been absolutely mashing. They rake. They have arms. It's one of the best teams in baseball for a good reason. Now going into the number 1 team in my rankings, the New York Yankees. Best team in the league, best team in the AL, and they're number 1 in my rankings, sitting at 27-9, first in the East. They've been incredible this year. Number 1 in OPS, slugging, and team ERA. Their rotation is one of the best in baseball. Headed up by Garrett Cole, who's not even pitched his best this year. You have Nestor Cortez pitching like a Cy Young candidate. Jameson Taillon, Jordan Montgomery, Severino have pitched elite. They've pitched elite for 3, 4, and 5 guys. They have pitched incredible. This rotation has been everything you want to ask for and more. Pat Brian Cashman on the head, his bald little head. Pat him right there. He's done a great job for them. And I'm so impressed with this rotation. And then I look at the bullpen, and I'm always impressed with the bullpen. But it's even better this year. Michael King has looked insane. This guy looks like one of the best right-handed relievers in the game. Follow him up with Clay Holmes, who looks even better than him. Those 2 guys have been 2 of the best righty relievers in the league. You have Aroldis Chapman, Chad Green, Lucas Lidke. I mean, this bullpen is insane. Clark Schmidt coming out of the bullpen, Wandy Peralta. It's one of the best bullpens in the league, and that's why they've been able to hold on to a lot of close games, because this bullpen has been incredible. And then you go turn it over to the lineup. Aaron Judge looks like a top 5 player in baseball right now. Leads the league in home runs, hitting .315. For Aaron Judge, he's unreal. He's going to get a huge payday this offseason because of it. Then look at his bash bro, Giancarlo Stanton. When those 2 guys are on, there's nobody more fun in the league to watch. And the reason that they've been playing even better than they had at the start of the year, Joey Gallo, Josh Donaldson, both have gotten hot recently. That's why this team has really taken off. 2 guys struggled heavily at the start of the year. Joey Gallo struggled heavily when he got traded last year. And they've both picked it up a little, and that's where this lineup has just jumped. Guys like Gleyber Torres, DJ LeMahieu, Rizzo, playing their role, hitting for power, hitting for more average. DJ LeMahieu seems like he's back to an extent. Gleyber Torres has been absolutely clutch this year. Even guys like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been a good defensive shortstop for the Yankees at a position they really needed to fill this offseason. Now, their one glaring weak spot is their catchers. Neither of the catchers can hit, but they're both really good defensively. It's not something I'm worried about. I'd rather have a good defensive catcher than a good offensive catcher. As we saw with Gary Sanchez, that did not work out. So that's it for today. You have my rankings here. Let me know in the comments. Am I smart? Am I an idiot? I'd rather you call me smart than an idiot, but whatever you guys think. And let me know what you guys think of this video. Do you guys like the solo videos? Should we just stick to the podcast episodes? And let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll talk about anything related to sports. We look into everything. We watch everything. I guarantee you we'll be talking about it. So let us know down in the comments what you think. And that's it. Peace.